Everybody get something out of the morning? Yeah. Isn't it cool how there's so many different ways to grow the same business? Different categories, different people, different, yeah. I mean, the collegiate thing, I've been in this for 40 years. I never thought that was going to be possible.
Yeah, it's genius.
Yeah, the college thing is really cool. And where Gladson is taking it now with bringing the fabric minimums down and taking it to a mill that can make it so that when you buy the cloth up front and have it sitting there, it's a reasonable investment, and they can weave 300, 500 meters at a time and do it that way. 500 meters sounds like a lot, except 500 meters is 125 suits. 125 suits isn't even the full football team. And so if you start thinking about alumni, and if you had that good, I mean, you could, what Colin McGregor had for $10,000 or $15,000, you could do for $2,500, $3,000, depending on however level of construction you want to put into it, and it becomes a pretty special piece. All right, let's get started. Next is Dan from Articles of Style, and since we're worried on time, we're going to get going, and Dan, take it away.
All right, let's do it. All right, I'm Dan from Articles of Style. Some of you may know me from the internets. First, thanks to Gladson. I don't come to a lot of these events, but I love the Gladson team, Guy, Faith, Mickey. So thanks for having me. I got about 30 minutes of chat. We'll do like 15 minutes of Q&A. I'll give a little bit of my backstory, but it's a long story, so I probably can't do it all. I was like in one of the first influencers. This is before social media, before Facebook. I was a very early blogger, and I transitioned my blog. I was working in a bespoke shop. I transitioned my blog into an online tailor shop, doing high-end tailoring online. And we have customers in 30 countries around the world, and I don't meet any of my customers, so it's purely digital. And I will talk a little bit about scale in this business and service. Basically trying to do one-to-one service at scale, right? We're all trying to figure out how we can save time and service more people, right? All right, so if this is advice for custom clothers, I guess the first hit that next one, Faith.
Okay.
The first problem is like confusion is the biggest problem, right? Customers are often very confused and very overwhelmed in this business. I'm sure you guys have witnessed that. But I also think the sellers are a bit confused, and that's probably what I'll talk about most, is like having a vision for what you're actually selling. I think a lot of people try to sell a lot of different things, and it comes off as even more confusing for the customers. So there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, right? There's a lot of ways to sell custom clothing, right? And you got to think about what you're actually selling. Like some people sell the fit, right? So it's if you're marketing the fit, it's how many measurements do you take? How many years of experience do your tailors have, right? You're almost like an engineer in that sense. Some people sell fabric, so how many fabrics do you have? Do you have high-end fabrics? What are the brand names of the fabrics? Some people sell customization, right? We have 100 linings, we have buttonhole colors, we have, some people that want to make a unique garment every time, so it's very tricked out, right? Some people sell an experience, some people are really good at that, so you have a beautiful showroom, you have a bar, you're pouring whiskey, you're kind of selling a club experience, something that people feel that is exclusive and is like a more club feel. Some people sell convenience, right? You travel to guys, you go to their office, you save them time, you take care of them, you're on the road a lot. In my world, I sell style, I think, first, which is more about how to put garments together, how to create outfits. And I think about the business through that lens first and foremost. I'm still doing fittings, I'm still doing customizations, but it's really, I'm hyper-focused on the style. And I think that resonates well with people. Because I consider myself a stylist first, And if you think about people that are stylists and make money styling, it's very few people do that. And you really are extremely exclusive, right? You're in Hollywood doing celebrities, you're doing athletes. Personal styling is a very niche business. You have to have high-end clientele. You can't really scale that. So I try to think about using custom clothing to scale personal styling, right? The idea is that I consider myself a stylist. I'm selling style, so I think about my brand and my business through that lens before any of the other components of custom clothing. So my story, right? I was born on a farm, a very not fashionable place. I grew up watching my mom make her own clothes. My mom grew up dirt poor. She had to make her own clothes. She'd go to fabric stores. She'd make her own stuff. So I saw her elevate herself and improve her life by the way she dressed, making her own custom clothing. And she would get recognized for that. She had a job at a bank. She would get promoted. She was owning that space. So I could see the external benefits of dressing well. And then I became a basketball junkie. I was a basketball guy. I was in the gym 8 hours a day, and I bought into the idea of like, look good, play good, right? That was the internal benefits of dressing well, right? So like, I'd get my hair cut every week, tight fade. I had the freshest Jordans on. Like I was mentally ready internally. So I'm playing basketball. I'm getting good. I'm getting recruited. So I moved from the farm, and now I go to Columbia University in New York City. So a major life shift from farm to New York, right? So that was, and at Columbia, it's the first time I met rich people, right? Like really rich people. And I was fascinated by this because the way that they shop was so interesting, because it's like an investment, right? Like people, you think about old money, the way old money shops, right? They're not buying an expensive loafer because it's a status symbol or it's cool. They're buying it because it's actually gonna last longer, right? So like, it was just a very different mentality than what I was used to when I was trying to wear cool t-shirts and doing almost more of a fast fashion vibe. I met these people that were just totally thinking about differently. And that was when I started to think about quality over quantity and shifting what I was buying, what I was investing in. But I had no money. I was absolutely broke, right? I'm a college student, I'm a college athlete, absolutely broke, but I'm in New York. And so I started buying clothes on eBay. eBay was like my first foray into fashion, right? So I was an absolute eBay animal. Like I was doing things on eBay. I was buying and selling clothes, so much clothes. I'm wearing it. I would wear the clothes once, and I would sell it for more than I bought it. So I had a nice business going, and I was always wearing cool outfits. I had the fashion bug early, right? I got so good at doing that I would find people with poor listings, misspelled. Like you had a pair of shoes, a Gucci loafer, you threw it on the ground, you took a shitty picture of it, tried to sell it. I would eagle eye that listing. I'd say I know exactly what pair of shoes that is. I'd go to the Gucci website, take the stock photo. I'd say it's gently worn, but I would say, you could wear this loafer with this, you could wear this loafer with that. I might even style it, or if I had the item, but in this case, I would just kind of give it more context, market it better online, but I was touching the product, I was measuring the product. So I probably wore every brand you could think of throughout that process. So I was really kind of learning about what's a Prada suit, what's a Purple Label suit, and all this, and I was selling it. So back to that example. My list, I would put the same listing up at the same time as you. You had a bad listing, I had a good one. I would sell for more than you, and I would just tell you to ship to my buyer. So I wasn't even touching the product. So it was just like arbitrage of digital marketing on eBay, right? And I was going through a ton of product doing that. So now I'm getting to my third year of college, and I get an internship on Wall Street, because at Columbia there's a lot of pressure to go to Wall Street, make the money, right? So I'm on an internship, but it's 2008, so it's absolute devastation on Wall Street. Everyone's getting fired. So my mentor in this internship, and I'm showing up as an intern. I'm wearing like Purple Label suit I bought on eBay, pinstripes. I got collar pins on. I'm Gordon Gekko, I'm a 19-year-old kid, right? And they're like laughing at me. I was like way overdressed. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is not like. Yeah, they didn't. It was not it. But my mentor was like, first of all, you're not getting this job. Like, there's no way in hell you're getting this job. No one's getting this job. Everyone's getting fired. And second of all, what the fuck are you wearing? Because you look crazy. But you're obviously really into fashion, right? So then I started asking him about their stuff. Like, where do you get your suit? What's he wearing? And I kind of learned that they're all getting custom stuff. So this was the first kind of aha moment of like, wow, custom is really where it's at, right? And I was always kind of the style guy, right? I was always the style guy. It wasn't really about quality or fit. It was just about how to put the outfits together. To the point where my teammates would ask me to help them pick out outfits. So I was going to their rooms on every Saturday night. Hey, we're going out tonight. Wear this, wear that. Because my teammates were from all over. We moved to New York. It's very intimidating, right? So we all needed help. So at that point, I'm like, guys, I can't come to your room every Saturday night and help you pick out an outfit. Like, this is crazy. So let me just write this stuff down on a blog. And blogging was brand new. So I was just doing it for my teammates, just my homies. Hey, you know, the information I was given was basic. Like, if you're going out, this is a good leather jacket for you. You know, this is how things should fit. Whatever it was, simple tips, right? So the blog is going. I'm doing the Wall Street thing, and I get obsessed with this idea of custom clothing. And then I basically sell all my stuff on eBay. I get rid of my inventory. I'm like, I'm gonna go custom. That's gonna be my thing, right? I book an appointment with Michael Andrews. I go down there. He's got this little underground shop. I meet Mike. I'm in there all day. I'm asking him a million questions. Like, man, this is so cool. Like, tell me about fabrics. Tell me about fit. Boom, boom, boom. I got enough money to buy a suit. I'm going to buy my first custom suit. I'm there for the whole day. And I buy 4 custom suits for him. So I give him all the money. The problem was, that was 50% down payment. So I'm broke again. And I don't, you know, it's basketball season starting. I'm practicing. I don't have time to do my eBay hustle. Come back to Mike 8 weeks later. I'm trying on the 4 suits. I'm like, man, Mike, good news is the suits are fucking fantastic. Love them. Bad news is I don't have the second half. So we kind of worked it out. I was like, dude, I'll do anything. I'll sweep the floors for you. I'll write, you know, I'll get lunch for the tailors. Just let me work it off, right? So now I got these custom suits. I'm a 19-year-old kid in college. I'm wearing bespoke suits, right? I'm feeling like the man. And Esquire magazine had this competition that was like, are you the best dressed man in America? Submit your photos and we're gonna have this contest, right? This was all very novel at the time. Like, there was no one taking selfies, there was no Instagram, there was pre-social media. So we had point and shoot cameras. And so I'm wearing the suits that are not paid off yet. My girlfriend at the time is taking pictures of me wearing the suits. I submit them to this Esquire contest. I end up winning the contest. I'm on the Today Show. Win it live on TV, and Esquire writes an article about me and mentions my blog. So my blog just boom, huge traffic, right? We had millions of readers at that time. Some of you guys, you know, I met here are readers from the original blog, right? So now I'm blogging about menswear. I have a big following, so I kind of feel like almost like an imposter in a way, because I don't know it inside and out, right? Like, I know style, but I don't really know garment manufacturing and the inside. So I go back to school after Columbia. I go to FIT, and I study menswear design. So here we're actually sewing. Like, I've hand set canvas jackets and all that, done all the work by hand, just so I could know if I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to be in the room. I want to know the ins and outs of that part as well. And I'm blogging about that the whole time. So everything I'm learning, I'm blogging about it. I'm also working at Michael Andrews still. So I'm learning fitting, I'm learning measuring, and I'm blogging about that as well. So I'm slowly, as a passion project for writing, slowly becoming an authority in online custom, because I'm sharing everything I'm learning and becoming a trustworthy person, not even thinking about it that way. And what happens then is people that are reading my blog now are really believing in what I'm doing, and they start flying to Michael Andrews to buy stuff from me, right? So guys are flying from all over. Like, I'm meeting guys, hey, they're like, wow, it's really you from the blog? I'm like, yeah, I work here, man. And they're like, where'd you come from? Oh, I flew in from Seattle. Oh, I flew in from London. And these guys would fly like 3 times. You'd fly in to pick fabrics and design. You'd fly in a month later for the basic fitting, and then you'd fly in a month and a half later again to pick up the stuff. So that was kind of like an aha moment where it was like, Well, before we get there, we got so busy that we didn't even have time to measure all the guys. Like we had situations where we'd be 5 guys in the waiting room that are all guys that heard about this through me, and we didn't have time to measure. So what we do is take a try-on garment. We had a whole rack of every size. We'd throw the try-on the guy and take pictures of the guy wearing it, make quick notes, right? That was really the fitting, like that was the core of the fit, right? Like you can have perfect body measurements, but you don't know how the guy wants his clothes to fit. So you're better putting him in a garment and being like, hey man, how does that feel? And then you can see shoulder slope, you can see posture, you can see sleeve rotation, lowering button stance, stuff like that. Visually, things are off, but you're also getting his feedback, which is critical, because as you know, you might say that looks perfect. The guy might be like, really? This is fucking tight, It depends on the guy. Some guys want high-waisted pants, some guys want tapers short. Every guy's very different. So the try-on garment was really, really key. So that was kind of like, okay, if we're really just doing try-on fittings, that's the main part of it, and these guys are flying from all over, can't we do that? Can't we do that digitally, right? Can't we do that online? So now I'm thinking, okay, let's go and test what is online, because there was online custom at that time. There's things like Indochino, where it was like measure yourself, right? And that was always extremely disappointing. So I've had custom suits from every brand that sold custom suits, and I'm a trained measurer, measuring myself, and I'm getting the product, and I'm like, this is very low quality and zero service, right? There's no one checking anything, no one asks you if it's good or not. Pick your own fabrics, measure yourself. So the in-person process was so good and so hands-on. You come in, we take care of you, pour you whiskey, shoot the shit with you, design your stuff, do your measurements. You fully take care of the guy. He doesn't have to do anything. He loves the experience. Online, it's the complete opposite. It's low quality, it's do it yourself. So that was, for me, was the aha moment, right? It was, unless you fly to New York or London, you can't really get a handmade garment, you can't get a fitting, you can't really talk to anyone about custom clothing. So that was when we started to sort of transition. So what we did basically was we broke down the step-by-step process of in-person, and we applied it online, right? So things like, and what I learned is that it's actually, people have the assumption that because you're doing it online, it's worse or it's less accurate. But what I've learned, and my perspective on it, is in many ways it's actually better. And I'll kind of walk through the step-by-step experience of a customer, why online, in my opinion, is better. The first step is brand discovery, right? Like they have to know about you, right? So things like SEO, social media, like online is fantastic for that, obviously, right? The second one is what we always have to do when we meet a customer, right? Is explain what you do. Like you have to walk them through how it works, what to expect, what the process is, what the timeline is. Like you're probably, a lot of you, delivering that message every day, right? Like you have to answer the same questions. This is what's going to happen. This is how long it's going to take. Online, your website, it just did it all. Like you can explain step by step very easily in a way that a person can sit and just like really digest. The third step is fabric selection, and that's a behemoth, right? Like I think the average customer walks into a custom tailor shop and is like, whoa, there's 10,000 fabrics in here. I don't know what's what. So what we did online is we really curated, and that's super important, right? You have to just, who are you? Like what's your brand? Like you only use these fabrics because that's what you're about. And we are able to sample them, photograph them, put them on models. So now you have an actual visual of the fabric and not just a swatch that the guy has to sort of imagine. So obviously marketability and visuals is a game changer as far as selling the product that way. Next step is customization. So that's hard in person too, because you have to say, well, what does that lapel look like? What does that pocket look like? Where would you use that, right? And so online, you can create an experience where the person can really sit with it and understand. You have a guide to lapels, you have a guide to pockets, you have pictures of all of them, you have examples of all of them. So it's a very thorough experience, as opposed to in person, you're kind of rushing through like, this is a lapel, this one's good, and the guy's just kind of like, okay. He's really just trusting you and not really digesting what you're saying, really. Fitting's an interesting one too. Because when you're fitting a guy, like we send a try-on to a guy's home, the guy is really getting to know the try-on garment. Like he's sitting in it, he's sitting on the couch, he's sitting on his different chair, he's standing up, he's doing this, he's in the mirror. Like he's really getting to know that try-on. When he's in the tailor shop, he's like, get me the fuck out of here. You know, like I don't, he's stiff and he's not really gonna tell you how he's not gonna tell you how it feels right in here, right? Like he's probably not even gonna sit down. So that was an interesting learning, was like, oh, like this is a very thorough fitting because the guy has all the time he wants. Like he can do it in the morning, he can do it at night, he can do it 2 times. He can do it after he eats, he can do it before he eats. So that was very interesting, that it would be more thorough that way. And similar with final delivery, like when you deliver a suit, like a lot of times it's like, tell the guy it's great. The first thing you say when the guy puts the jacket on, oh man, it looks great, right? Like you're seeing a collar roll, you're seeing tightness across the back, you're seeing some funky shit. It looks great. It looks great. Don't turn around. Don't look at him. You know what I mean? And you're almost like it's like showmanship, right? And that's fakery. Honestly, it's just like get them out, right? Whereas when you deliver at home, same thing with a try-on. The guy's going to digest the thing fully. He's going to tell his wife to look at the back. He's going to take pictures of himself. He might take 3 days to get back to you, but he's going to know exactly how the thing fits. And that was, again, it was almost a more honest experience as opposed to like getting people out the door and telling them it looks great, right? And then obviously the next big one is repeat business is absolutely huge, because I find that guys, that the first time in a showroom is fun, right? Get the whiskey, hanging out. Wow, this is a cool place. Like this is fun. Like this is. Second time's still fun. The whiskey still tastes good. 5th, 6th time, the guy just wants a suit. He doesn't really want to book an appointment. Doesn't want to come down. It's almost like a hassle, right? So online, the guy's sitting on his couch, shopping the website, he clicks one button, boom, it's over. He does all of that. He can order at any time. It's very convenient. So repeat orders and average order value is much easier. And then following up with customers is fully automatic, right? Like I don't have to call anyone. We have email flows that you can set these things up, especially with tools today. The tools today, it's getting much easier and much cheaper to do a lot of things, especially with AI. But following up to customers is fully automatic, right? And then from there, well, I'll get to that later. So anyway, doing it digitally is not worse. I think is the main thing, that the point of this part is people associate it with lower quality, lower service, like the best experience is going in person, having, I don't necessarily think that that's true. And I think it goes back to, what are you selling? Because if you're selling the fit and the experience of doing fitting, that's different. Again, I'm selling the style. So the guy cares most that the garment looks good on him. Not that it's exactly perfect, but it's like the right garment for him. It suits his lifestyle. It goes with the other garments we suggested. So he's just feeling more stylish as opposed to feeling like he just left Savile Row or whatever. And in many cases, I have clients who were Savile Row guys that were going to places like Huntsman, spending 10 grand on a suit, and they have our stuff, and they prefer our stuff because it's a different style of garment. Like a lot of guys who get those suits are very structured, the big shoulder pads are very stiff, so they feel like they can only wear them in extremely formal settings because it's a more formal garment. And it just feels stiff. And in today's world, softness is king. It's a casual world. They want things that are soft and easy to wear. And we lean much more casual and do a lot of business. We do more stuff that's casual than suiting. So anyway, yeah, I think that's kind of the crux of what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of ways to do this business, and I think that you need to figure out what you're good at and what you're actually selling, and what's the lifestyle that you want to live, and then really hone into that, right? You don't want to get caught in a situation where you're a slave to your own business, right? Like, I got to go deliver I got to pick up the alterations and bring it to the shop and go deliver the thing. There are better ways, and there are better tools, and there are, depending on how you want to do it, right? So in order to know how to market clearly, you need to know what you're marketing and you need to define what you're marketing by who you are and why that would make sense for you, right? So like there's a lot of copycats in this business, like that is rampant, but it's never going to work unless it is really true to like your skill set and what you can offer to someone. So break the mold, right? You don't have to do it the old school way. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it, but there's a lot of ways to do it, and it's getting easier to scale the business with fewer people and bigger orders. That's really my presentation. So I'll open up for questions. That might be easier for me, honestly.
Dan, what are some of the rules you have for creating content?
So content we batch create. So I only shoot content twice a year for like a week stretch. So, we rent the studio, we fly in the photographers, we fly in the video guys, and we boom, 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 boom. We're shooting all day long. We have a whole shot list of what we're gonna shoot, and then we roll that out for 6 months. So like the stuff I'm gonna put up today was shot like 5 months ago. We have another shoot coming up next month. Rules, I mean, I could talk about that a lot, obviously. Some people say document, don't create. Document, don't create. I don't love that, right? Like the process. Like I believe in the art, right? Like I don't love the behind the scenes. Like unless you're really good at that and you're really cool and you have a personality. Hey, I'm working today. I'm doing this. People don't really care. They want to see the magic. They want to see the finished product. They want to see the editorial photo of the model just fucking crushing it. Like that's what they don't want to see you in your fucking office, doing whatever you do, right? So. That's definitely one of the rules that I try to follow. Even though I do show some behind the scenes. Leading with value, I think is something that I'm actually learning. Like right now, our content that we shot, the 6 months of content we shot is too salesy, and I don't like it. Right? Like it's I'm holding up garments, I'm talking about garments. You really just need to like help the person or give them value. Like the sale will happen on the backside. Right? So like, is there something you can teach them? Is there something that you can, what is the person taking away from this video or this post? Like, it needs to provide something for them that is totally unrelated to the sale. Like, the sale will come around as you sort of become a helper, an authority. It doesn't have to be, hey, buy my product, I think people are very, very skeptical and very, wary of content being so shoppable. Like we don't want ads. We don't want to be scrolling ad. Like we already have ads built in there. Between the ads should be you delivering something. Again, it goes back to like who are you, right? Like are you entertaining? Then you can just talk and you can be entertaining, right? Are you a great photographer? Shoot some really sexy photos, Are you I think you kind of get what I'm saying, but like there has to be a takeaway. And the first 2 seconds is the most important.
And how frequently?
That's a good one. I mean, the more the better is often the current thought. Feed the beast, right? You can't overpost. You can't overpost. So don't ever be squeamish about overposting. But I think that the quality is more important than the quantity. Like my favorite people that I don't really follow too much fashion stuff, it's other stuff, but it's people that like when you see that they've posted, like before you've even seen it, you see the title, their name, and you're about to see it, and you get excited because it's like, oh, this shit is always good, and it only comes like once a week, but it's really good, So again, kind of depends on who you are and what you're good at, but I would say we're moving in a world with social that is quality over quantity. Like they're starting to reward people for good content more than frequent content. Like there are a lot of people who post every day have no following, So it's not just about frequency, I would say. We spend a lot of money on quality. Like we hire real film crews. I got guys that make movies that have cinema cameras. Guys got a $250,000 camera, right? So I think, and that we've been doing a long time. So we've graduated to that. I wouldn't jump there right away, but getting used to that, getting some feedback as to what's working, and then making it better is probably a good strategy.
But it's also interesting to me that you say you've been doing it a long time, yet you don't like what you did 6 months ago, and you want to change, which is great.
Well, you always get better, right? Anything in art, right? You get better. I think everyone's like that, right? You ask a director what he thinks of his famous movie, he probably hates it. You know, it's there's always room for improvement. That is the struggle with batch shooting, because that type of content that you shot, you're stuck with that for 6 months, right? So you got to try to plan seasonality and stuff like that. It's just efficiency for me, right? Like I think about my business a lot, probably mostly about freedom and efficiency. Like I never want to have to be in a room at a certain time. The fact that I'm here is fucking just because of you and you. But I never want to have to, go meet someone or be somewhere, be stuck somewhere. So that's always kind of the lens that I make decisions by. That was the original. The flexibility, I think, and the scale go hand in hand. So if you can figure out how to do it in a semi-automated way, then you can pour some gas on it and really do it, a lot of it, without having to hire a lot more people and put out a lot more fires.
Can you talk about the breakdown of your kind of like where your clients come from, right? Because you have Instagram, social media, your blog, like paid marketing that you do. Right? For me, I have a physical store right now, so some of that applies. Like, how do you kind of see that inflow of your content?
I don't have great metrics on that.
Okay.
One thing I'm very proud of is we do zero ad spend. I've never spent $1 on ads. We're purely organic, which has its own challenges. We're now actually starting to move into paid ads because we've figured out the scale. Like we can deliver a lot of garments because we've built very efficient systems to input orders, to do fittings, so now we're kind of ready. Like a lot has happened in the past few years. We've changed factories multiple times. COVID killed a few factories. It's been wild, right? Now we have a very solid manufacturing, fabric partners, team. My team is unbelievable. And we can handle it, so we're gonna kind of put fuel on it. But it's mainly SEO is huge. Social media is huge. And then email. So you capture the guy, right? So if you have something, if SEO is working, meaning that when people Google men's fashion or whatever, and you're popping up, you want to capture that guy. And capturing the guy is number one. So we have like a pop-up on our website. As soon as you visit our website, I give away a free book, an ebook, a 30-page book that I wrote just about, it's like my best blog post condensed, basically. But I want to get your fucking email. That's the number one thing. Once you have the email, that's a whole different, there's a whole world there, right? Email marketing. Like you're putting them in flows, depending on, have they purchased, have they not purchased, they're hitting them different messages, different times. So email is enormous, but it's really a game of driving people to your site, whether that's organic or paid, capturing the email, and then continually, like we'll hit a guy 100 times before he buys from us. I got a customer this morning. He placed a huge order. He's been following me since the very beginning. Like he's been following me for 12 years, So I'm benefiting from the reason I told the story poorly is that I'm benefiting from that just years and years and years and years and years of content, right? And that's what I don't have. Like I don't have you guys have this. Hey man, what's up? I got you, right? I don't have that. So like the trust gap is enormous. And I made up for that from just all that content. Like the guy, every piece of helpful educational content just builds incremental trust. Like, okay, oh, he solved that problem. Oh, he knows about this problem. Oh, he knows about collar rolls. Oh, he knows about, and then eventually the guy's like, fuck, I'm gonna do it, But it's a long, when you're selling $5,000 suits online, it's a long, it's not something you can do overnight, And again, it goes back to who am I? Like I have that advantage. That's what I was doing. It makes sense for me, So if I was going to start a business from scratch today, I don't think you could do it. I don't know if you could do it. You'd have to have a huge budget and give it all to Facebook, basically, Meta or whatever.
Do you ever have issues with guys that want to see fabric and touch it?
Yeah, we send swatches.
You send swatches?
Yeah, we charge them. charge $20 for 5 swatches just because we don't want to be sending them all the time, and you want that little, he's kind of in a little bit now, right? But they come directly from the mill. We don't touch. The other beautiful thing about going back to scale and buying back your time is we don't touch the product. So if you order swatches from me, I email them and they send you the swatches. When the factory makes the garment, it goes directly to the customer. So I'm doing the marketing, I'm doing the Zoom sales, I'll review fittings with our pattern maker when they're hard fittings. But for the most part, it's try to be hands off.
You know, it's fascinating. What we had before, we had traditional retailers or direct clothing, as I was saying on the panel. So traditional means that is to see, like you did before, see and touch and feel, right? In your business, you establish your credibility through your blogs, through your social media, and through the information that you send out. But how do you substitute your advantages to reach the world? Their advantages, so they're confined obviously by geography, right? So you have an advantage there. But I think their advantage is they can make a solid relationship that can last 30, 40 years.
Yes.
Is Articles of Style thinking in terms of being more contact, being maybe building satellite places? How are you going to scale? That's the question.
I mean, the scale is online. I mean, unless you're trying to be like Tom James or something and hire a bunch of people, I find that to be a crazy idea, you know, to hire a bunch of young people to try to go measure and fit, hope they, that seems like the hard way to me.
Is your repeat business strong enough to that getting a...
I mean, think of it this way, right? Like, the guy's in my shop all the time. Like, the guy's on the toilet, he's in my shop. You know what I mean? The guy's going to bed, he's in my shop. Like, he can purchase with me at any moment. And he can book a call with me at any moment. So he doesn't have to travel, he doesn't book, guys don't really want to book appointments, you know? You're not that cool. Like, I mean, I'll see you once in a while, I'll be cool, but I don't want to come see you every time I want to buy something. And younger people want it even less. Like, they're not social, they don't want to go shake hands. They still want to look cool, but mostly for the internet anyway.
You said something last night that stuck with me was, by the time you get on the phone with somebody, they've already been on your site for 50 hours.
Yeah.
They just want to confirm that you're like a real dude and like, and the sale's easy, right? I think
Exactly.
we underestimate our website. Like, it's doing a lot of our work.
The website is the salesperson, is the logistics explanation. Like, when I meet with a guy, his cart's already full, and he's on the 1 yard line. I just gotta beep, push him in the end zone. You know, he just wants, exactly right. He just wants to make sure this is real. Like, the hardest thing for me is getting a new guy because it's such a novel process that they don't really get it. Like, what do you mean take pictures? Like, what do you mean try on garment? But it's all explained, right? So every time they see a social post, like, oh, let me go back to the site and learn about it. Like, they're teaching themselves and putting in a little effort themselves, frankly, with the process. But the trade-off is like the convenience, and the marketing is in their face. They can order just boom, you know?
So the guy's point, no, I thought it was interesting when Indochino started opening up storefronts, but there's not even a thought of that from your perspective for you.
Being in a store is like prison to me.
Right.
I have zero interest in that. And frankly, my clients are everywhere. Like, my client, we have a lot of different clients, but the good one I find is like the big money guy in a tiny market. Like, the guy's a doctor in Kansas or something. He's got one little guy locally, frankly, probably a cheesy little guy. And then what else does he have, right? If he's a hard fit, he can buy custom from the cheeseball local guy, or he can, if he wants something well made, he has to buy ready to wear. He goes to Mr. Porter, he buys Keaton or whatever, it doesn't fit him. So what is he has to fly to New York or London, right? So like there's literally like I look around and there's no competition. Because I'm doing high-end luxury online for guys that they have money, they're tasteful guys, and now people live everywhere even more, right? So like there's remote guys out there with big money that want nice stuff. They literally can't get it if they want custom, unless they travel. And that was what I was trying to, with the story, that was kind of the aha moment. It was like, oh, these are the guys that need the service. And if they buy Indochino, that's not going to go well, like at all,
It's not
you
your
know?
guy either.
They don't even want that. Like the price point doesn't even appeal to them.
How do you handle alteration if guys are 5, 6 away? How do you handle alteration?
Alterations? Alterations, so Like when you get a final garment, you need an alteration. So you do a fitting, we do a final fitting as well. So when I say a fitting, it means taking pictures. So we do front, back, left, right. We tell you how to stand and how to take the photo. And then even more important than the photos is the questions you answer. So like, how does the shoulders feel? How does the stomach feel? How does the sleeve feel? So when you get the final garment, we want you to do that same process. So we want to make sure it's perfect for you. And if it's not, our fitter, our pattern maker, Morgan, she's incredible. She writes alteration notes. She tells you exactly what to tell your tailor. You go do it locally, and we reimburse you for the alterations, and we update your fit on file, so you never have to have that alteration again. So you can update your fit at any time, right? If you bought from me 6 years ago, and you want to buy something else, I say, hey man, throw that garment on, and take a new fitting. We have that saved. We have your pattern from that garment saved, and I'll just readjust it based on that. So it's like you can walk into the shop and do a fitting at any time from your living room, right? But alterations are done locally.
You do a try on coat and pant for a customer?
We do a try-on based on what you bought. So there's 4 total try-on garments for us. There's the jacket, pant, vest, and shirt. So you buy just a shirt, we send you a try-on shirt. So you buy a shirt from us, you get a free white shirt, because you can't do a basic shirt. But if you buy a sport coat, you get the jacket. If you buy a 2-piece suit, you get the jacket and pant. We do outerwear based on the jacket. So there's a lot of math, but if you do all of those, you can buy any garment on our website. And we have a lot of different style of garments. Like we do bomber jackets and trench coats and all kinds of stuff. But it all comes back to the jacket fitting.
I feel like, if I remember right, you don't require measurements. So what's your process? Is it kind of AI driven, all your like data to get that, or do you do measurements now?
We do measurements now.
Okay, good.
And when we first started, the litmus test for us was, can the guy do it from the toilet?
Okay.
If you can't do it from the toilet, we don't want to do it. So it was just a profile you would fill out. So it was like your height, your weight, your jacket size, your waist size. The problem with that is the waist size was terrible. No one knows their waist size. Guys wearing
They
30.
also lie.
Yeah. Oh, I was 6 foot 190 in college. You know, but their waist is terrible. Like if you're wearing a 32 jean, your waist is like 36 or 30, 35. You know, so we would actually buffer that in and use. You know, we have a lot of data. So every time we do one, we have like if I ask Morgan if a guy is 6'3", 245 pounds and has this waist, what's the rest of his measurements? And we'll be pretty fucking accurate. You know, but it's actually psychological more than anything else, because the guy needs to. The profile wasn't giving the guy the feeling of trust enough. He was like, wait, if I just tell you my height and weight and general sizes, like now I have to make sure I'm wearing the right sizes. So the number one issue is taking away any skepticism, or the guy needs to know that he did it right. Like we've experimented with iPhone measuring, and then we'd ask people, well, what did you think of the iPhone measuring? And they hated it because they would do it with no shirt on, then they do it with a shirt on. Then they do it this angle, then they do it this angle, and when they looked at the measurements, it's all different. So they're like, oh, I'm gonna fuck this up, you know? So now the opportunity to do it wrong is on the client, and it goes away from the sort of full service mentality of what we're trying to do, you know? So we do ask guys to take basic body measurements to make the try-ons, and we run it through a lot of data to make sure they do it right. But it's just for the try-on, so you get a whole second bite of the apple, right? Thanks for having me. Thanks to this guy. Thanks to Faith.
Let's take a 5-minute break, come back in, and then Brian will be next.